We've spent some time before with Jonathan Last, senior writer, Weekly Standard, Washington-based, of course, political magazine that we go to all the time, author of What to Expect When No One's Expecting, America's Coming Demographic Disaster, 7 Deadly Virtues, The Deadly Virtues, and now we're looking at a new one that looks great, The Christmas Virtues. Jonathan, good morning to you.
Riley and Scott, boys, it's great to be back. How are you?
Hey, we're great. Thanks for taking time out of your morning for us.
Always, buddies.
Looking forward to hitting this book. We have not had a chance to fly through it yet, but you have populated it once again with a bunch of people we love to read.
Yeah, it's all of your favorite conservative writers: Jonah Goldberg, Steve Hayes, P.J. O'Rourke, Christopher Buckley, and I even snuck in someone who I think is turning conservative a little bit more every day, Kirsten Powers from Fox News, who's like my favorite liberal in America, and who is herself, I think, almost conservative in spirit.
I'm sure she would deny that up and down, right? If you...
but we're getting that vibe, too.
She would, but she's perfect. She wrote the chapter. This is a really fun book about Christmas, but there's a little bit of seriousness in it. And I got Kirsten to write the chapter about Jesus, which is great because she's a reasonably recent convert to Christianity and, in fact, just converted to Catholicism. She just became a Catholic. She joined my tribe, which is great. We're happy to have her on the team. Anyway, we thought it'd be neat to have somebody writing a chapter about Jesus coming at Christmas for the first time as an adult, really, in that way. And anyway, her chapter is great, too.
In addition to someone who is new to Christmas, you have, I think it would be, a Jewish trilogy somewhere near the middle? Jonah Goldberg, Larry Miller, Joseph Epstein, is that about right?
Yeah, because one of these things where I couldn't not have these guys who have been with us throughout the series, and so I went to them and I said, so guys, what are we going to do? We got to have you writing about Christmas. And it was pretty easy. So Jonah was sort of raised half Christian, half Jewish. They had a tree that they put up when he was growing up in New York, but they just said, Santa knows not to come here.
He's not on the clipboard. He's not getting in here.
Right. So Jonah wrote about the war on Christmas, which is great. I thought it would seem like special pleading if we had, like one of us Catholics or Christians writing about the war on Christmas. So Jonah seems like more of a disinterested third-party observer. He's like a UN observer in the war on Christmas, which is great. And then Joe Epstein and Larry Miller, who are both very devout Jews, have really great, very different takes on what it's like being Jewish at Christmas time. And they're also really, really lovely pieces.
Spending some time with Jonathan Last. The book, The Christmas Virtues, a treasury of conservative tales for the holidays. You got to weigh in on this one particular part because this is something Scott and I have talked about time and time again, about Die Hard not only being a Christmas movie, Jonathan, it's the Christmas movie.
So shows how broad-minded I am as an editor. I totally agree. Die Hard is my favorite Christmas movie. And yet Sonny Bunch, who writes as a film critic and a friend of mine who has a chapter about Christmas movies, he takes the other side of this. But I am so broad-minded and tolerant and ecumenical that I allowed his chapter into this book anyway, even though he's 100% wrong about Die Hard. It is the greatest Christmas movie of all time, and Alan Rickman is my favorite Christmas villain of all time.
I do give him credit, though, even if he's not going to call Die Hard a Christmas movie. He does write favorable things about what is my, second favorite, if you count Die Hard. That's Scrooged.
Scrooged, right.
Bill Murray is just a super dark... Michael O'Donoghue was behind the film, very dark, twisted kind of guy, and that was Bill Murray's return to movies, if people don't recall. He was gone for about 3 years after The Razor's Edge tanked and came back in Scrooge, which is a great Christmas film.
Yeah, it's that great opening scene with the TV movie where is it Arnold Schwarzenegger who shows up in that?
It's not Schwarzenegger. Now I can't remember.
Or Chuck Norris. Maybe it's Chuck Norris.
It is Chuck Norris.
The idea is right. Yeah. That the North Pole is under terrorist assault, and Santa, these colors don't run. He picks up a Gatling gun and starts shooting terrorists. It's great. Yeah, no, Scrooge is, I would say, another absolute classic of the genre. And, I'm going to cost myself sales here. The movie everybody loves from Christmas, A Christmas Story, has just never done it for me. People love Ralphie and the Red Ryder BB gun and the leg lamp, and God knows my wife and her family love it too. That has always left me a little bit cold.
I love Darren McGavin as the old man. He's my favorite part of the whole movie, but I'm kind of with you on that.
Yeah, I'm more of a Die Hard and a Scrooge guy myself.
Do you are you an It's a Wonderful Life guy at all?
Total. I watch that movie once a year and I cry.
I was going to say, true confession here. My wife, I don't know if she's listening now, or if she's not, someone will tell her. She wants to watch It's a Wonderful Life every Christmas. And I usually beg off, and I try to play it off like I don't want to or I'm busy. The truth is, I would probably cry as much as I do at the end of Field of Dreams. That's why I don't want to watch the film with her.
I didn't see. I saw it for the first time. I think I was like 17 or something. The first time I saw It's a Wonderful Life, and I started like crying. I didn't want to watch it because it was a black and white movie and it was old. And so of course nothing old is any good. You're 17. It's old. It can't be good. And towards the end of the movie, I find myself crying, and I was like, What's happening to me? Why is this salty discharge coming from my eyes?
Well, and as a guy who put out the dadly virtues, would you agree, and at least in my own particular case, I am far more sentimentally attached to that movie being someone's dad than I was just being someone's son?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I would say that's true. I am looking forward actually to doing that movie with my kids too. They're not old enough, but my oldest is 7, and this Christmas we're going to do The Force Awakens together. I'm
nice.
Bringing my kid to Star Wars, and I've managed to keep him pure. I only let him watch the original Star Wars movies. He has no idea that the prequels even exist.
Outstanding. See, I introduced mine to it at about age 3 or 4, and it's been an outstanding run ever since.
Yeah, when he came home from school one day and he said, "Dad, how many Star Wars movies are there?" And I said 3. Some of the kids on the playground said there are 6 of them.
They're lying.
I said, Cody, one of the things you have to learn is that sometimes your friends will lie to you.
Yeah, they're Jar Jar Binks sympathizers is what they are.
I said, there are only 3 Star Wars movies, and the other ones are just lies. But I said, don't worry, there's going to be a really good 4th one coming out this December, and we'll go see that one in the theaters.
Nice.
So JJ can't let me down.
Jonathan Last is with us, editor of the fantastic book, The Christmas Virtues, a treasury of conservative tales for the holidays. So as you mentioned, you have some Jews, you have Catholics. In order to touch all the bases, you have Molly Hemingway, a Lutheran who writes a chapter. She is such a fantastic writer, especially on matters of religion. What does Molly tackle?
Yeah, so Molly is awesome. And again, I didn't want to seem special pleading. I asked Molly to do Mary. And so I thought, we'll get again a non-Catholic to do Mary, so it doesn't look like it's the Catholics, with their crazy Marian devotional stuff here. And Molly's piece is every bit as awesome as you would think. I mean, I've known Molly, God, for almost 20 years now. I've known her since before she had kids. She's a mom. She's a great mom. She's got these great kids. And she writes this beautiful chapter about Mary, Mother of All, and how special Christmas is, not just with Jesus, but understanding what an amazing figure Mary is as well, just to say yes, to say yes to what God is imposing on her, and what a great example she is to all of us.
Got to say, Jonathan, it had to be delightful as you recruited your team, and then they began sending forth the fruits of their labor and sitting back and just peeling them off the printer and reading them.
Yeah, well, don't tell my editors, but yeah, I mean, the publisher is basically giving me free money for this because you don't have to edit. When you have like Molly and Jonah Goldberg and Steve Hayes, there's not a lot of heavy lifting on my end. So I'm the mastermind. I sit there and say, "Oh yeah, no, it was really hard to pick this team out together," and
had to straighten them out a few times.
Yeah, I got to have a firm lash to keep these guys in line. But this really is the most fun I'll ever have. This is the 3rd of these Virtues books. It is certainly the last of them, I think. And I already know, I've already reconciled myself to the fact that I will never have more fun in my time in writing.
And the authors involved, and we've had you on talking about all of the books, Deadly Virtues, 7 Deadly Virtues, and then now the Christmas Virtues, Jonathan Last. I mean, if you were going to just rifle through your Rolodex and say, I want the 16-ish funniest, best conservative writers out there, you'd find the 16 you picked. How did you luck into that?
Yeah, well, this is having been in the business. I've been in the business now for about 20 years, and one of the things you learn is it's a really small world, and all of these people basically do know each other. And so if you just hang out in this bar for 20 years the way I have, it's a little bit like Cheers. You do eventually know everybody. And so it was pretty easy to find them, because these mostly are people that I had been friends with or friendly with for a while. In 1 or 2 instances, there were people who I hadn't met before. So like Christopher Buckley I had not met before, and I just took this as a chance to go to him and say, "Hi, we've never met, but I've basically been stalking you for since I was 15, making a White House mess and things for smoking." And like Kirsten Powers again, I've admired her writing. The truth is, I'm not a big TV guy. I don't watch a lot of cable TV news. Mm-hmm. So I've always been a fan of her writing, not her Fox stuff, which is what most people know her from. And she's a beautiful, beautiful writer. And so this was like my big chance to go and in a non-creepy way become friends with her.
Anybody say no?
No. Everybody says yes. I think it's a lot of fun. These books are a good time. It's for the writers. This is a chance for them to write about stuff they wouldn't normally write about. I mean, Steve Hayes spends all his time writing about like terrorist watch lists and like deep dive into ISIS intelligence, and for him to then get to go and write about his own Christmas mornings growing up in Milwaukee and what it's like today, what he and his wife do for Christmas morning for their kids, is a big change of pace, and I think they like doing this sort of thing.
Now, is there anyone you'd like to start the rumor who said no to perhaps portray them as a bad guy or a bad gal?
Yeah, because we'd be willing to help.
Like Garrity. You want to pretend like Jim Garrity said no to you, or?
Oh, boy, I hate Garrity. That guy is the worst.
There you go.
Jim Garrity is a fabulous guy, although one of these, I've never actually met him. So I've admired his writing for a long time. I'm sure he's a great human being. I know he's a great writer. But maybe next time. If the publishers come back and say we have to have episode 4, The Virtues Awaken, Jim on board.
Jonathan Last with us, The Christmas Virtues, available now. Perfect gift for Christmas. It's right there in the title, in fact. It's Riley and Scott here on WROK. All right, let's close with Rob Long, who's been on the show a couple of times. He of Cheers and Sullivan and Son and many other TV shows through the years. He has the very first piece, after your fantastic introduction, of course, In Defense of Ebenezer Scrooge. What's Rob Long talking about?
So what Long said, Long is great. Long says, look at the opening of A Christmas Story. And what happens is you have this drunk guy, Bob Cratchit, who comes in and interrupts Ebenezer Scrooge, who is creating value for his clients and, having a clean, environmentally conscious workplace. And he's saying, hey, give me time off, give me money. And why should Scrooge be giving handouts to everybody? Whoever gave a handout to Scrooge? And it is awesome. I would say this is a natural for me. I'm the guy who wrote The Defense of the Empire for Star Wars. I always like to find the nuance to people that everybody believes are bad or evil. And this Rob Long piece on Scrooge takes it to 11.
All right, kind of the opposite of Occupy Scrooge Street, then.
Yeah, it's awesome. And it helps because Rob has a very cold black heart himself, and so he really sees a lot of himself in Scrooge.
And you mean that in the best possible way.
The best possible way. I mean, he's from Hollywood.
He's Jonathan Last. The book is The Christmas Virtues, a treasury of conservative tales for the holidays. You would be doing the people on your gift list a disservice if you didn't buy this for them. So please don't make anybody angry. Get them the book.
And the people you love the most in your life, grab all 3. Dadly Virtues and the 7 Deadly Virtues, and top it off with the Christmas Virtues. That's how people in your Christmas circle will know who you like best. Whoever gets the 3 books.
Right. Yeah. And the person who gets nothing, well, they can do the math. Jonathan, as always, thanks a lot for your time. Best of luck with the book.
Thanks so much, guys. Happy Thanksgiving.